Maplestory has been a household name in the side-scroller MMORPG space for nearly 2 decades now, but they have been cooking up a whole new Maplestory experience for die-hard fans to play. If you have ever played Maplestory before, keep watching this episode. Welcome back to another episode of What's New Wednesday. I'm Jcluster. It is November the 20th, and we'll be talking about things that have happened in the world of blockchain gaming and crypto between November the 13th and November the 20th. Popular side-scrolling MMORPG has just started their second playtest of their new Maplestory Universe blockchain game. There are play-to-airdrop leaderboards that you don't want to miss. Crypto is continuing to pump, with Bitcoin hitting another new all-time high today of just below $95,000. Will we see 100k Bitcoin soon? Openloot's highly anticipated Openloot token is live, and people are able to convert their OLRP into Openloot tokens now. It is now live on multiple centralized and decentralized exchanges, and the price has hit 15 cents so far. On the big time front, it appears that OLRP chests will no longer be appearing in game for now. We're gonna switch things up a bit and start off talking about the blockchain game of the week first instead of second. Maplestory was originally developed and released in South Korea and was localized to 10 different regions in 2003. It's gone through many different iterations since its inception, so many different updates, different reboots, and continues to go on. The franchise itself has netted over $3 billion in its lifetime. There are still tens of millions of players worldwide playing Maplestory, which finally leads us to the Maplestory Universe. Maplestory Universe actually a combination of a few things. It's a new PC MMORPG, very similar to other Maplestories. It's called Maplestory N. They also have a mobile MMORPG that's part of the Maplestory universe. And then there's a couple projects that they're doing that are designed to allow players to create their own worlds and Maplestory spin-offs using an SDK and things like that. So that's what the universe is. Let's jump into it and start looking at what's going on in the world of Maplestory Universe. 19 hours ago, they posted second Pioneer test open now until 11/29. So that would be in 9 days. This playtest will be over. If you start playing today, you can get your chunk of 5 million NXPC. And I believe that's their native token. So you definitely want to be downloading this game and checking it out, especially if you already are into playing Maplestory. It's pretty exciting stuff. That's what they just posted. What else are some big differences between Maplestory and the original Maplestory? There's this article here by Digital Q. Maplestory is taking the first step into the NFT marketplace and has announced a host of new projects. Maplestory is a popular game, hosted since 2004. Still popular online, the Maplestory developer Nexon has now announced a host of new projects. This article does say that one thing will be that there won't be any cash shop in the new Maplestory N. Instead, Nexon wants players to be able to help control the distribution of items with the free market. Free market is back. I think that there was a time in the Maplestory history where people were able to trade with each other for real money. Then that got kiboshed, and now it's back using blockchain technology. That means that there is no in-game purchases, microtransactions. It's a fully player-run economy, and you know we love to see that in the blockchain space. They say that there will be no pre-sale of NFTs in this article. It also says that all items will be obtained through gameplay. It also says Nexon plans to generate revenue for creators and itself through fees on NFTs. Pretty standard for blockchain stuff, but since the Maplestory universe, the world of Maplestory, and the player base is so large, this is a huge impact on the blockchain space, because a lot of people who were playing Maplestory originally and maybe were using the free market that used to exist might be really excited to see this come back. So Maplestory N coming soon. They have 3 separate competitions, I think, going on right now. 3 different leaderboards, or maybe it's 2: enhancement competition and a marketplace competition, right? So you can enhance items using power crystals in Maplestory N to strengthen your gear, and the more you do that, you'll be put on a leaderboard, and the top people will get the most NXEC. And same thing with marketplace competition. You can access their marketplace just right from their website, and it's like their own sort of secondary market where you can buy and sell your NFTs. I don't really know what the currency is and how much the currency is to get. I haven't really looked into that yet, but you know, people are buying and they're selling things already, so pretty pretty exciting stuff. So being able to participate on the marketplace leaderboard, all you need to do is buy something and then you'll instantly be added to the list. But I've never really gotten into Maplestory. What about you guys? If you guys are watching this and you are Maplestory fans, what do you think about Maplestory and the Maplestory universe? Would you rather stick with the original 2D side-scrolling MMORPG? Do you play Maplestory mobile, or are you excited to start playing the new Maplestory? And let me know in the comments. All right, moving on from that, Bitcoin has had another pump up to a new all-time high today of just below 95K at the time of recording this episode. This comes a day after a new pro-crypto secretary of commerce has been appointed in the United States, Howard Lutnick. History: pro-Bitcoin Cantor CBO Howard Lutnick named U.S. Secretary of Commerce. He has hundreds of millions invested in Bitcoin. So that's pretty crazy. And we did see like pretty much a direct correlation between the announcement of the Secretary of Commerce and a little pump. But there could be something else that's causing this a bit too. We've been talking a bit the past couple of weeks about this whole buy the rumors, sell the news narrative for a little while here, but things are developing a little bit differently than I expected, mainly because we get this guy, Secretary of Commerce, pro crypto. We were talking about how the rumor was that Gensler was going to be kicked out on day one, and who knows who's going to be appointed as SEC. But there's another twist that has come into the rumor mill here. Apparently, there is talk about appointing the first ever crypto-focused White House executive who would be tasked with overseeing all crypto regulation across agencies like SEC and the FTC. So there's rumors talk about this new role that could potentially come into. They'd be basically directly connected to the Oval Office, and they'd be the go between Congress, federal agencies, and the White House. So that would be a pretty interesting development if this sort of position gets created, because it could be a little bit of a game changer when it comes to who the replacement is for Gary in the SEC, right? Does it really matter who the replacement is if this new role gets appointed and this new role is making all the decisions for crypto? The importance of the chair of the SEC when it comes to crypto regulation and crypto projects and stuff like that becomes very minor if there's someone overseeing crypto in general across all sorts of government positions and across all sorts of agencies. So then it says, like, what is the rumor and what's the news? Is the news going to be Gensler out and the replacement, or is it going to be Gensler out, the replacement, and this new position, which could completely shake things up for crypto on a whole? And what's the more newsworthy sort of development? The appointment of a new SEC chair, or the appointment of this new crypto czar, as they are calling it, in the White House? So it'll all depend on what we see develop out of this whole rumor with this crypto czar thing, or if they're just going to focus on replacing the SEC chair and do that. But it's very interesting to me. So what can we expect in the short term? Are we going to see Bitcoin break above 95K and turn 95K into support, or is 95K going to act as resistance? Is 95K going to act as resistance, and are we going to see another retracement down before we move up towards $100,000 Bitcoin? It's kind of hard to say what to expect. I see a lot of really only up sort of momentum here, and when will there be a good pullback, a correction that makes us sort of have to reline our pockets with crypto Bitcoin at a lower price? Who knows? Next, Openloot has launched their token yesterday at 3 a.m. PST and 6 a.m. EST. Token went live on OKX to start and started going live across a bunch of other exchanges after that. But as somebody who was there at 3 in the morning my time, ready to convert my Openloot tokens and trying to withdraw some, because I personally really wanted to be one of the first liquidity providers on Uniswap for Openloot, so I was really excited to do that. But I was not able to. The withdrawal process took several hours. I waited until like 6 in the morning my time, so about 3 hours, and it didn't process. So I ended up having to give up and do it later. But the general sentiment when the launch first happened was pretty bearish overall. There was a lot of people fighting the token, and there's a few reasons, right? One, when you went to convert your OLRP, you could only convert 1,000 Openloot tokens at a time. Now that's fixed, but that was getting on people's nerves, and people were confused. Why were they getting an error whenever they tried to convert more than 1,000 Openloot tokens at a time? Then there's the withdrawals. People set a withdrawal and they were waiting and waiting and waiting, and they were starting to call it a scam. They were fighting the project because they didn't really realize that it was just like the Openloot website had been overloaded. And another reason why people were starting to FUD was because once you finally converted it and went to withdraw, some people's Openloot airdrops were so small because they were maybe got like a little bit of OLRP from doing the social media campaign or a little bit of OLRP from doing Clocky Chaos, that when they converted it, they only had like a dozen or so tokens. And when they went to withdraw it, by the time they withdrew it to their MetaMask and sent it off to an exchange, they would have been losing money, right? So these people who didn't really have a huge airdrop were pretty frustrated. They thought they were going to get like a bunch of money, and they didn't look at any of the details about how the conversion works between OLRP and Openloot token. However, now that the withdrawals are not backed up and people are able to withdraw their tokens, and now that the token price is continuing to perform quite well, we're up at 15 cents. Overall, the sentiment has changed quite a bit. I think a lot of people are getting bullish, so that's pretty exciting. But let's take a look at the Openloot listing on CoinMarketCap, and we'll do a little bit of analysis here. Current market cap is around $160 million, but if you look at the self-reported circulating supply, it says that there's 1.2 billion Openloot tokens circulating already, and that came out as a huge shock for me, a huge surprise. Where did all of those Openloot tokens come from? I was expecting there to be like maybe 200 to 500 million Openloot tokens to start, but seeing the circulating supply up so high already really has me concerned, because you know, we want to see as much upside potential with this token as possible, especially because a lot of people were spending a lot of big time tokens on Openloot reward points chest with the hopes to at least get like a better return than the price of the big time token. The big time token itself is basically the same price right now, so the market cap needs to be over $1 billion right now if we were to see the Openloot token go to $1, and that's huge. Like, can we really expect that within reason? I'm not sure. Technically though, the entire Openloot marketplace is a Openloot sync though, right? Because you can buy and sell items using Openloot token, and if you're selling something or using the Openloot market, you can actually decide how you want to receive your payments. Do you want to receive your payments in Openloot token or in USD, or do you want to receive it in the form that it was paid? So if you receive it in the form that it was paid, then technically those Openloot tokens would be kind of getting taken out of circulation. So it's hard to say how much people are going to use Openloot tokens to buy things, right? Are people going to be paying with Openloot? You get a discount when you buy with Openloot tokens, but is the discount going to be enough for people to rationalize it? I don't know. The token price will be fluctuating so much that personally it could go both ways, right? If you're paying with Openloot tokens and then the price goes up, then you're kind of losing out because you used more Openloot tokens to buy the thing. Also, if you're receiving payments in Openloot tokens and the Openloot price goes down, then you just lost money. But you could also go the opposite, right? Maybe you're receiving payments in Openloot tokens and then the token does go up to $1, and then what, right? It could be pretty game changing, selling an item and getting an extra 20% profit off of it just because you received the payment in Openloot tokens. So Openloot token is live. You guys let me know what you guys think about the Openloot token launch. Did it go as expected? Are you happy with the results? Where do you expect to see the token price go to? Give me your ideas, your estimates. Final topic, we just talked about Openloot and OLRP. There was an announcement on the 18th that says, but for now, I watch with glee as the OLRP chests fade from your world. Their glow snuffed out like a candle in the night. The magic, my magic, spent now, resting, waiting patiently. Oh, don't worry, adventurers, you'll have plenty of time to reflect on what you missed. Rest assured, when the magic returns, I'll be waiting, and when it does, you will tremble and cheer. So it's basically saying that Openloot reward point chests are gone, it seems, and I actually expected them to continue to do Openloot reward points chests, but they're gone for now. But it does sort of imply that they will come back at some point, somehow, some way. So will there be other ways for us to earn open loot reward points still in the future? Maybe like leaderboard 5, maybe a contest. Maybe will we be able to win OLRP from like PvP matches in big time if and whenever big time finally launches PvP, that ever happens. But who knows, like how else will we be able to earn open loot tokens, open loot reward points in the open loot ecosystem if the open loot reward points chests are gone? I'm not so sure. But anyways, that's it for this week's episode of What's New Wednesday, guys. If you are watching this in the future, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and as always, don't forget to tell somebody about it, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.